Chapter 1. The Move. The Farias family was simple: father, mother, and two children. Renato, the father, was a man of faith, raised on stories of miracles. After losing his job in São Paulo, he decided to start over in a rural town called Pedra de Val. There, he bought an old, forgotten house, too cheap to pass up. The neighborhood was quiet, the house huge, but something felt off. From the very first day, the key wouldn't turn easily. The doors creaked as if screaming. And the mirrors, all of them were covered with sheets. Curious, Renato uncovered one. In the reflection, he swore he saw a shadow pass behind him. Chapter 2. The Prayer That Didn't Rise. On the first night, Renato's wife, Juliana, suggested a family prayer. They knelt on the living room floor. The kids giggled, trying to repeat verses they had learned. But when Renato started to pray aloud, something happened. His voice simply failed, as if his throat were being squeezed from the inside. He tried again. Nothing. Juliana looked at him, terrified. She began praying for him, but one of the kids pointed at the ceiling and said, "Daddy, there's a man hanging up there." When they looked, no one was there. But the smell, a scent of wet earth and mold, flooded the room. From nowhere. Chapter 3. The locked room at the back of the house was a door locked with chains. It looked like an old tool room, but no one had the key. Renato tried to break it open, but the wood wouldn't budge. A week later, they heard knocking from inside. 3 knocks, always at 3 a.m. One day a neighbor approached and asked, "Did you know this house used to belong to the Gadelha family?" Renato shook his head. The man revealed that decades ago, a pastor had lived there. He murdered his wife and children, and then hanged himself in that very room. Since then, no one could stay in the house for long. Renato didn't believe it until the next night, when the door opened on its own. Chapter 4. The Backwards Sermon. Renato decided to call a pastor to bless the house. The man arrived with his Bible and anointing oil. As soon as he entered, he felt nauseous. He said the air was heavy. He began praying aloud, but something distorted his voice. The words seemed to echo back, reversed. Instead of "God is love," they heard "Ev Oelsi Dogi." The pastor fell to his knees and cried, "This house won't let me pray." At that moment, the Bible in his hands caught fire. Without explanation, he fled. Renato wept. For the first time, he felt truly alone. Chapter 5. The Girl Who Stopped Speaking. The couple's youngest daughter, Lorena, was cheerful, talkative, creative. But by the second month in the house, she stopped speaking. Doctors found nothing wrong, until one day, Juliana entered her room and saw the girl scribbling strange symbols on the walls. When asked what they meant, she wrote on a piece of paper, "They told me not to tell." Renato asked, "Who told you, sweetheart?" She answered, "The ones who live in the ceiling." Chapter 6. The Inverted Psalm. Renato made one last spiritual attempt. He opened his Bible and decided to read Psalm 91 aloud. But when he flipped to the page, it was written backwards. The letters were jumbled, the name of God erased. And at the bottom, in red ink he had never seen before, it read, "He does not enter here." Renato felt his body grow heavy. He collapsed to his knees, crying. Just then, the lights went out, and the locked room's door swung open. Chapter 7. The choice. Juliana wanted to leave, but they had no money, not even for a bus ticket. The next night, Renato dreamed of the pastor who had taken his own life. He said, "No one prays here, they listen here." When he woke, he heard footsteps on the ceiling. The children screamed. Renato climbed up with a flashlight, but found no one. Only barefoot footprints and a rope swaying in the dark. Chapter 8. Final Faith. Renato tried one last time. He lit a candle, knelt in the living room, and even with his throat tightening, whispered, "Jesus." The house shook. Windows shattered on their own. The candle blew out, but in the darkness, he heard a single sentence whispered in a thin voice. Now he's listening. The next morning, the family left the house without looking back. They left everything. Only the Bible remained inside, still open, on the same page, with a new sentence written underneath, "You almost stayed." The end. Credits. You've just heard the story, The House Where God Wouldn't Enter. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves mysteries. Come back tomorrow for another dark tale. Good night, and beware the silence of old houses.